Chapter 381, Killing in the National League. Chapter 381, Killing in the National League. Ancient Capital University. After Shiyu finished feeding Eleven the gold, he came out to check on Susu's cleaning results. Nink! It was still so perfect. The room was filled with a fresh aura. If he could have had the combination of purification and sweetness earlier, he wouldn't have been so impatient in meditation. Beautiful. Nink! Let's go, I'll take you around the school. Shiyu stretched out his hand. Susu hopped onto Shiyu's arm and climbed onto his head. Susu.I_I. At this moment, Shiyu looked like he was wearing a blue hat, looking especially young. This was the first time Susu had come to Ancient Capital University. If it was going to the undead battlefield to train next, it would have to stay here for a long time. Shiyu planned to bring it to familiarize it with the environment first. In addition, he had not returned for a long time. He didn't even participate in the final exam this year. Being this kind of student was really awesome. Battle Club. As the National League was in 2 days, Shiyu came over to take a look. When he arrived, Principal Feng seemed to be there too. He should have gone out to take a look at the contestants of Ancient Capital University after giving him the gold. Dean He, the instructor of the Battle Club, was also there. He was lecturing the members of the Battle Club. There are no master-level teams participating in the team competition this year, so if you guys get the last place again this year, it won't make sense no matter what. Xu Ziyi, you're the vice president. What do you think Ancient Capital University will get this time? Vice President Xu Ziyi looked conflicted and said, well, it's hard to say. You guys are cowards. I'll set a number. The top 5 of the team. This time, all the members of the Battle Club will go to Demon Capital together, including the reserve members. However, regardless of whether you participate or not, you have to write a post-battle analysis of no less than 100,000 words according to the competition situation after the competition. As Dean He finished speaking, the expressions of the hundreds of Battle Club members below immediately turned bitter. Damn it! Even if the training was doubled, it was better than 100,000 words of post-battle analysis. Shiyu is here. At this moment, Principal Feng, who was listening to Dean He lecture the members, suddenly looked at the door. To be honest, he didn't have much hope for the team competition of Ancient Capital University. After all, the school's resources were completely different from the resources of other schools. At the moment, he was hoping that Shiyu and Whitebrook, the 2 members who participated in the individual competition, could do well. This year, it was decided that the individual competition received more education funds. In the past years, the results of Ancient Capital University were indeed not very good, so the annual education funds were basically crushed by Imperial Capital and Demon Capital University several times. But next year, they might be able to be generous for once. The results of the green silkworm cocoon of the feeding department, the results of the iron-eating beast of the archaeology department, and in addition to the battle results of the National League, it was definitely the achievement of a top-notch school in the first tier. And all of this seemed to be thanks to the super genius Lu Qingyi picked up from that small county. Shiyu? Upon hearing Principal Feng's voice, the hundreds of members of the Battle Club and Dean He looked at the door. Cough. At this moment, Shiyu also coughed dryly and entered in embarrassment. He didn't expect everyone to be in a meeting. Dean He, Principal Feng. Shiyu, you came at the right time. Seeing Shiyu, Dean He smiled. The other students also looked at this god in silence, their gazes extremely complicated. The reason was very simple. It wasn't because Shiyu had once swept through Imperial Capital University and defeated the careless vice-captain of Imperial Capital University with his equipment. Instead, Shiyu, who had disappeared from Ancient Capital University for a few months, had actually appeared in the top 100 of the sequence battle. This was what shocked everyone the most. Although Shiyu didn't feel anything at that time, once the ranking of the sequence battle was announced, every student of Ancient Capital University, especially the Beast Tamers of the Battle Club, was very shocked. After all, the Beast Tamers in the sequence competition weren't just university students. In other words, among all the students of the 9 major universities, only 2 had entered the top 100. One was Gao Xian, and the other was Shi Yu. Even Bai Wenjie from Imperial Capital University, who Shi Yu had once defeated, and the official captain of Ancient Capital University, Whitebrook, were ranked hundreds away. Although Shi Yu was quickly killed in the top 100 and his ranking fell, he had entered it before. The top 100. The top 100 were all super geniuses who had already grown up, seniors who were several years older than them and had already graduated for a long time, or people who had reached the top of other systems. Among them, almost all were top-notch masters. In this situation, Shi Yu, a freshman, entering that? It made those who knew Shi Yu feel like they had seen a ghost. In their impression, Shi Yu was only a high-level beast tamer. Although he could fight above his level, he was only a high-level beast tamer. However, looking at this ranking, there was no doubt that Shi Yu had definitely broken through again. Not only him, but some pets must have also reached the monarch level and their battle power was off the charts. Not many people knew that Shi Yu had broken through to the master level in the Emperor Wu ruins. Even fewer people knew that he had gone to Dragon Palace City. Therefore, this gave these Ancient Capital University students the illusion that it was suddenly unscientific. Now that they finally saw the missing Shi Yu, many people started to guess what Shi Yu had experienced. What he had experienced, in the crowd, Yu Shu, who knew part of the truth and had been to Dragon Palace City, cried. Chapter 382, Killing in the National League, 1. Chapter 382, Killing in the National League, 1. What Shi Yu had experienced was the kind of thing that no one would believe even if he was telling the truth. Therefore, Yu Shu was tactful and didn't publicize the matter of Dragon Palace City. In Yu Shu's opinion, Shi Yu's battle results in Dragon Palace City were indeed worth entering the top 100 of the sequence battle. That iron-eating beast was a monster. Not to mention these students, even Dean he didn't know at all. He hadn't reached that level. However, he also had a guess. At least, he knew that Shi Yu had contracted the heroic spirit of the Overlord race, Mu Huiyin, and the butterfly of imagination of the Overlord race. He knew that Shi Yu was a member of Bureau 11. He suspected that these 2 pets might have completely grown up under the secret investment of Ancient Capital University and Bureau 11 and reached the monarch level. The other students didn't know Shi Yu's identity, but they knew that the cultivation resources Shi Yu obtained were definitely much more than these ordinary students. Shi Yu, you know that only you and Whitebrook are participating in the individual competition this time, right? Dean he said. Well. But hasn't Senior Shu broken through yet? Shi Yu asked subconsciously. Among the 9 major universities, it was said that including him, there were a total of 21 master-level beast tamers. Apart from him, Whitebrook was the only master in Ancient Capital University. It was too much. As the vice president, why was Senior Shuzi so weak? Shuzi? Why was he being dragged into this? Damn! It wasn't that easy. The mission of Shuzi leading the team competition is also very difficult, Dean he said. However, all of you still have to learn from Shi Yu. Shi Yu? Whitebrook isn't around today. As one of the few contestants in the Battle Club who can participate in the individual competition, do you have anything to say to everyone? After the new rules of the National League were changed, Whitebrook temporarily handed the mission of training the school team to Dean He. She returned to Wuling City to prepare for the individual competition. Her family also prepared some resources for her. Shi Yu knew this very well. In his conversation with Senior Bai, he had already learned that Whitebrook had already strengthened 3 pets to the monarch level. They were the Immortal Feather Crane, the Nine-tailed Light Fox, and the Heavenly Light White Tiger. Although they weren't male or the heir of the Wuling Bai family, the ruined space, the spot in Dragon Palace City, and then a large amount of resources were invested. Senior Bai seemed to be very favored in the Bai family. What I want to say? After a moment of silence, Shi Yu said, everyone, good luck. Everyone. Was it any different from not saying anything? The next day, the group from Ancient Capital University started to head to Demon Capital. There was a mighty super team of more than 100 people, including teachers and students. As for the other students who wanted to come and watch the battle, they had to think of a way themselves. Of course, someone with connections like Senior Panda must have been taken advantage of by Shiyu for a public trip. Before leaving, White Brook arrived at Ancient Capital University. However, when she heard from Principal Feng that Lu Qingyi was cultivating in the ruins and wouldn't go to watch the battle, she couldn't help but be very sad. However, being able to stick to the beautiful Panda Senior, White Brook quickly recovered her good mood. Demon Capital. At this moment, a large number of geniuses from the 9 major universities had already gathered in the National League village near the East Sea. Soon, the team battle and the individual competition final would be held in the East Sea Arena near the contestant village. Of course, the venue of the individual competition, an island filled with ferocious beasts, was naturally elsewhere. In the contestant village of Ancient Capital University, after everyone arrived, White Brook, who had not seen her teammates for more than half a month, immediately gathered everyone and asked about the training and tactical arrangements. Even though Dean he had already arranged it properly, she was still worried and planned to check again. Shiyu also sat beside her in boredom. The more he listened, the less hope he had for the team competition of Ancient Capital University. After White Brook dismissed the 10 main team members, White Brook looked at Shiyu, who was playing with his cell phone in the corner. "How's your preparation?" she asked. "Not bad." "What are you doing?" "Looking at the video edited by Buggy. It plans to post Mu Huiyin Legend 2. The corners of White Brook's mouth twitched. So, the National League was around the corner, and it was fine if this guy's pet didn't train seriously. But it actually didn't even rest and was doing this? Although, she had also subscribed. "Don't you have any sense of urgency?" White Brook asked. "It doesn't matter if it's others, but there's still Gao Xian." Gao Xian, a super monster who was only 21 years old and ranked in the top 20 of the sequence battle, couldn't be ignored. The sequence competition committee ranked Shiyu's battle results in Dragon Palace City at more than 80 and Gao Xian at more than 20. This meant that Gao Xian definitely had hidden trump cards and stronger battle results. "Don't worry, my goal is the same as Senior Lu. It's the world competition. If I can't kill indiscriminately in the National League, I don't have to go to the world competition." Shiyu was very serious. He didn't underestimate the enemy. The number of trump cards he had prepared was definitely not what the beast-eared girl could imagine. White Brook! Damn it, he was bullying her for not being qualified to go to the world tournament. "Your pets are really at the monarch level?" she asked. "Yeah." Shiyu smiled. "When they were in their natural state, at least. Apart from that, he had a bunch of fancy combinations." "All right then." White Brook sighed and felt a little tired. Compared to worrying about Shiyu, she should worry about herself first. At this moment, geniuses from various top universities were gathered in the National League's contestant village. Chapter 383, Killing in the National League, 2. Chapter 383, Killing in the National League, 2. Imperial Capital, Ancient Capital, Demon Capital, Divine Capital, Star Capital, Demon Capital, Spirit Capital. At the same time, special rare pets from various cities appeared everywhere in the contestant village with beast tamers. It could be said to be an unprecedented grand occasion. Media teams shuttled through the contestants' village one after another, looking for contestants to interview. On the internet, there were also endless speculation discussions about the National League. Although it was a rare occasion, Shiyu still chose to return to the contestants' dormitory to lie down. The competition would begin tomorrow, and today was another boring day. Tomorrow was the individual competition preliminaries. At that time, 21 masters would compete on an island filled with ferocious beasts. The final contestants could enter the finals to determine the individual champion. The individual competition preliminaries, team competition, and individual competition finals would determine the order of the National League this time. After returning, Shiyu continued to take out his cell phone and swipe it. It wasn't because of the discussion about the National League on the internet, but because the preview of Lost History 001, Legend of Mu Huiyin released by Buggy had passed the review. It was another short and powerful super short film that was more than a minute long. It was as short and weak as the green silkworm. However, although it was short and weak, there were many explosive scenes added this time. The ID, Time Traveler, had increased by 100,000 fans since it was flipped over by the official account of Ancient Capital University. Many people were looking forward to the follow-up of Mu Huayin's legend. Unfortunately, he disappeared for nearly a month. Therefore, the moment Preview 2 passed the review, many strange comments were added. Grandpa, the author you were following has finally updated. It's fine if it's a monthly, but why is it a preview? This is too much. I'll like it first before looking at it. I'll develop a good habit. These were the comments before watching the content. As for the comments after watching the content. Woo 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 woo, General Mu Huayin's childhood was so miserable. Not only was she ostracized by her clansmen, but she also suffered the torture of the fire bloodline. Because the fire bloodline in her body is too strong, she has no choice but to contract an ice element pet to suppress it. Hiss, no wonder General Mu Huayin contracted an ice element pet even though she clearly has a fire talent. The bloodline power of a hybrid human can actually be so strong? She needs an ice dragon to suppress it? I also have a hybrid friend. There's no such situation at all. It's just that she has too much hair and can't suppress it. Holy shit! Emperor Shi used undead and time element super skills to transform General Mu Huayin's bloodline power into a heroic spirit and sealed it in the ruins? Really? Damn, why does this ruin look so much like the heroic spirit ruins of the ancient capital? This time, in the preview of Lost History 001, Legend of Mu Huayin, the information revealed was that General Mu Huayin of the hybrid race was tortured by the power of her bloodline, so she had no choice but to contract an ice element pet to suppress her strength. By a freak combination of factors, she obtained the title of Ice Dragon General. At the same time, she displayed General Mu Huayin's tragic childhood and the suffering brought by her mixed blood during her growth. Although an expert had already analyzed the previous video, after this time, everyone finally confirmed the reason why General Mu Huayin erased her traces. Because her mixed blood was not accepted by the world. Indeed, before the era of Dong Huang and the Empress dynasty, the mixed-blood humans had always been treated as foreign races. Such a bumpy experience made many modern beast tamers sigh. Their hearts ached for General Mu Huayin. However, what made countless beast tamers even more concerned was that General Mu Huayin's bloodline had actually turned into a heroic spirit form and even existed in the world. It was sealed in the heroic spirit ruins of the ancient capital by Emperor Shi. Soon, this news was completely confirmed. Because the official account of Ancient Capital University reposted this video again. At the same time, the university commented, according to archaeological discoveries, General Mu Huayin's heroic spirit was indeed sealed in the heroic spirit ruins, and the so-called heroic spirit ruins are. The Ancient Capital University account began to explain what the heroic ruins were. Then, the main point came. Not only the heroic spirits of General Mu Huayin, but the heroic spirits of the generals under Emperor Shi also exist in the heroic spirit ruins. Our Ancient Capital University organizes students to go to the heroic spirit ruins every year to communicate with the ancient heroic spirit and inherit the will of the predecessors. Those with outstanding talent even have a chance to obtain the recognition of the heroic spirit and contract them. It's better to act than to be tempted. Welcome to the Archaeology Department of Ancient Capital University next year. Hug.jpg. The conspiracy of the admissions office of Ancient Capital University. No, it was a conspiracy. All the beast tamers wiped their saliva and suspected that this was the recruitment method of Ancient Capital University. Being able to come into contact with the heroic spirit ruins was indeed the core competitiveness of Ancient Capital University. However, not everyone liked undead. Even if its predecessor was an ancient sage, some beast tamers couldn't accept it. They felt that under the same conditions, it was inferior to other races. The dragon element resources in the imperial capital and the mechanical pets in Star Capital were similarly attractive. Ancient Capital University had its own core competitiveness, and so did other universities. Every university could take out rare pet resources that were not inferior to the Heroic Spirit ruins to attract new students. Moreover, the conditions for the heroic spirits in the Heroic Spirit ruins to recognize their master were indeed high. There was no doubt about this. But this time, it had to be said that General Mu Huiyin was too charming. A hybrid human, red hair, red eyes, powerful strength, and a beautiful general. The combination of multiple labels made many beast tamers go crazy. I understand. I'll apply to Ancient Capital University next year. Is it too late to change schools now? Damn it, I want to go to Ancient Capital University. My mom signed me up for Star Capital University. I'm 8 years old now. I can go to university in 10 years. I wonder if I still have a chance. Dream on. Also, Ancient Capital University, transfer me money. Shiyu looked at the comments and shook his head. However, during the National League, if everyone knew that he had contracted Mu Huiyin's heroic spirit in advance, would he become the public enemy? Chapter 384, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent. Chapter 384, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent. Union Calendar, December 1st, 178. After lying down for a day, the National League officially began. Millions of gazes focused on the National League. Those with qualifications came to the scene of Demon Capital. Without any conditions, they waited for the live broadcast in front of their cell phones and television. Donghuang Radio and Television Station, Donghuang Radio and Television Station. This is the East Sea District of Demon Capital. The 114th National League is about to begin. On the live broadcast of the National League, the female host said, "I'm the host, Han Lu." The male host said, "I'm the commentator, Gu Yu." These two had already presided over the 5 National League competitions. To the audience who paid attention to the competition every year, they were all familiar faces. Soon, as the two of them spoke nonsense, colorful fireworks rose outside the East Sea Arena. The school flags of the 9 beast-taming universities of Donghuang also fluttered. At the same time, 9 teams of more than 10 people began to enter the venue from different directions. In the Ancient Capital University team, Shiyu followed behind White Brook. Behind him were the high-level beast tamers who participated in the team competition. After the contestants and audience were in place, on the platform of the venue, an old man with a big beard started to talk. Shiyu looked at the bent, white-haired, and bearded old man. He knew him, but not completely. If Shiyu wasn't wrong, the other party should be the person in charge of the 8th Bureau, Zhong Yang, Principal Feng's superior. He had the powerful battle results of finding and teaching a titled legendary and a legendary beast tamer. As for his own strength, that was unknown. Beside him was a very beautiful long-haired lady with a very cool aura. She was a legendary mechanic, Xiao Shuang, who was also General Xiao Qin's sister. It was said that the security of the individual preliminaries of the National League was handled by her overlord-level mechanical life form, the Eye of the Stars. As for the last very dignified middle-aged man, Shiyu also knew him. He was the president of the Beast Tamer Association of Demon Capital City, the legendary Beast Tamer Xie Man. Because it was Demon Capital's turn to hold the competition this year, this person naturally had to attend. As for why Shiyu knew him, it was because this guy was the husband of Dr. Zui, who had developed the Ice Phoenix moth. His daughter, Xie Qingwei, had even been Shiyu's assistant at the feeding conference. He had clearly not been promoted previously. This promotion speed was pretty fast. Cough. Good heavens, the 3 important people who attended this year's National League were not simple. A long time later, Director Xiong and President Xie finally finished speaking. Many contestants looked at the platform again. At this moment, Madame Xiao Shuang, who was wearing a black trench coat, stood up. With a thought, her figure teleported under the platform. As she walked, she said, "I'm Xiao Shuang. Due to the special rules of this year's National League, I'll be the special guest judge. Next, the contestants of the individual competition of the 9 major universities, come and draw lots. The result of the draw will determine where you will be teleported to the competition island, Glass Island. Glass Island covers an area of 40,000 square kilometers. The internal environment is complicated. The initial location will affect the outcome of your competition to a certain extent. The time for the individual preliminaries is 1 day. In 1 day, you need to eliminate 2 contestants on the island, regardless of the school. Only in this way can you meet the conditions to advance to the next round. If the conditions aren't met after a day, you will fail to advance. During this process, the more contestants are eliminated, the more rewards can be divided in the end. At the same time, the island is filled with ferocious beasts. Every monarch-level ferocious beast hunted can also receive 10 million yuan. When they heard this rule again, everyone felt that it was very difficult. There were only 21 contestants in this individual competition. Moreover, they were all master-level beast tamers. In this situation, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to eliminate 2 people in the specified time. Moreover, although there were no Overlord-level ferocious beasts on Glass Island, there were definitely many wild monarch-level ferocious beasts. In other words, after arriving at the island, not only did they have to worry about competitors, but they also had to worry about the threat in the wild. It was still more comfortable to play the team competition in the arena. Let's go! In the ancient capital university team, Whitebrook called Shiyu and called him to draw lots. Yes. Shiyu nodded. At the same time, a total of 21 master-level students from the 9 major universities walked to the designated location of Legend Xiao Shuang. During this process, the 21 people were observing each other, but there was actually no need to observe. Because they were all old acquaintances. They had fought in the National League last year. The only unfamiliar face was probably Shiyu. Therefore, most people sized up Shiyu. That guy who evolved from an archaeological iron-eating beast. A genius who developed the green silkworm cocoon and contracted the butterfly of imagination. I heard that he defeated the vice-captain of Imperial Capital University in the Imperial Capital Exchange event. Top 100 at the start of the sequence battle, a freshman. Are you kidding? The contestants from the other universities muttered the information they knew in their hearts. Among the many contestants, even Jiao Xian's presence couldn't suppress Shiyu. After all, Shiyu's achievements had crossed several domains. There are many more masters than last year. On the platform, as the contestants of the individual competition went to the preliminaries to draw lots, old Master Xiangyang chuckled. Your daughter is also here, right? She just broke through not long ago, and she's just here to make up the numbers. It's good to train, President Xia said with a smile. Chapter 385, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 1. Chapter 385, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 1. Which one do you think the individual champion will be? Xiangyang touched his beard and said. Well, a year-old President Xia pondered. He wanted to say Jiao Xian, but there was indeed a variable this year. He looked at Shiyu, who was drawing lots. Others didn't know about Shiyu's battle results in Dragon Palace City, but his daughter, Xia Qingwei, had also gone to Dragon Palace City. As a father, he naturally knew. Therefore, it was very likely that this year's champion would be between Shiyu and Jiao Xian. It depended on how much progress the two of them had made during this period. One was a genius from the 4th Bureau, and even the rewards for this year's competition were specially customized for Jiao Xian. One was a dual-domain genius from the 3rd and 11th Bureau. He had even created such a huge miracle in Dragon Palace City. His rise was so fast that it was difficult to understand. I'll bet on Shiyu, President Xia said with a smile. As for Bureau Chief Zhong, he laughed and said, then I'll bet on little Jiao. Below. Everyone had basically finished drawing lots. Shiyu didn't know what kind of place the Yunying Mountain Range was. He didn't understand the detailed map of Glass Island in advance. It didn't matter. In any case, with their speed, as long as they used the right pet, it wasn't difficult to search for opponents on an island of 40,000 square kilometers. Prepare to land on the island. After drawing the lot, Xiao Shuang said straightforwardly. At the same time, his gaze, like President Xia and Director Xiong, paid more attention to Jiao Xian and Shi Yu. One was a junior in the mechanical field. She had also heard of the other from her father and sister. Crushing two overlords, was this for real? If that was the case, what was the point of Jiao Xian fighting? Wasn't the resources for the fourth round of the National League wasted? Of course, she didn't believe this, because his father and sister didn't know what was going on either. Xiao Shuang was more willing to believe that Shi Yu had relied on external forces, just like how Jiao Xian could use small forbidden weapons. In short, she felt that it was a little ridiculous. She planned to let the Eye of the Stars broadcast Shi Yu's situation more later. Boom! In the sky, the sea of clouds broke open, and 100-meter-long mechanical huge eye that looked like a blue star appeared. Gulp! Countless people suddenly looked at the sky. Named Eye of the Stars. Level of growth, Overlord. This big guy reminded Shi Yu of the Eye of Heaven during the ancient capital vocation assessment. He was very emotional. Soon, countless pillars of light shot out of the Eye of the Stars in the sky and landed on Shi Yu and the others. There were a total of 21 contestants. Then, everyone slowly disappeared from the spot. Only countless spectators and the team competition contestants of the 9 major universities looked at the venue eagerly. In the next 24 hours, the Eye of the Stars will broadcast the situation of the 21 contestants at the same time. When they don't encounter other contestants and Monarch ferocious beasts, the live broadcast will choose to use the blurry distant scenes. When they encounter each other or encounter Monarch ferocious beasts, the clear live broadcast will be carried out, Xiao Shuang said. Please arrange your time reasonably. She mainly said to the other team battle contestants. After all, tomorrow was the team battle immediately after. If they stayed up late to watch the individual competition preliminaries, although it was not a burden considering the physique of a beast tamer, it would more or less affect their state. Dong Huang Radio and Television Station, Dong Huang Radio and Television Station. I'm Han Lu. I'm Ji Yu. In the next 24 hours, we will explain the entire preliminaries of the National League's individual competition. At the same time, on the big four-sided screen of the East Sea Arena, in various places in the contestant village, on various major internet platforms, and on the television channels, the 2 commentators in charge of presiding over the National League continued to show their faces. Even Xiao Shuang, Zhong Yang, and Xia Man sat quietly and watched the 2 of them explain. These 2 were both experienced masters and industry insiders. It was not a problem for them to explain the National League. Moreover, Xiao Shuang would also be in charge of supplementing the situation that they couldn't explain through the Eye of the Stars. It's starting, Gyuro. I'm a little nervous. At this moment, the students of the 9 major universities looked at the disappearing pillar of the school and the gradually lit up live broadcast scene. They swallowed their saliva. The principals and teachers of the various universities had also arrived. At this moment, Principal Feng brought Dean He and the others to a certain place to watch the live broadcast. There were a total of 23 live broadcast images. Among them, 21 small images were in the corner and were blurry. They matched 21 contestants. As for the clear main image, it was the area mainly responsible for broadcasting when the contestants had any conflict. The remaining small image was the profile picture of the host, Han Lu and Ji Yu. As the contestants will be scattered and teleported to various places on Glass Island at the start, the contestants won't encounter each other for the time being. Before that, I, Han Lu, will introduce these 21 contestants from the 9 major universities in turn. Firstly, it's the personal champion of the last National League, the leader of the champion team, the genius mechanic from Imperial Capital University, contestant Jiao Xian. According to what I know, he even participated in the sequence battle this year. Now that he's ranked 24, he can be said to be quite impressive. This means that among the young beast tamers under the age of 30 in Dong Huang, contestant Jiao Xian's strength is enough to rank in the top 30. You have to know that he's only 21 years old this year. Look, he's starting to summon his trump card machinery. Chapter 386, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 2. Chapter 386, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 2. Middle-level Overlord race, Ultimate Holy Dragon Beast. At this moment, the situation of Glass Island had already clearly appeared in the scene. On a plane, Jiao Xian, who was wearing a silver battlesuit, was teleported here. After arriving at Glass Island, Jiao Xian's expression was calm. A huge spatial array appeared behind him. A handsome Ultimate Holy Dragon Beast mecha descended. It bent down and stretched out its huge hand to lift Jiao Xian up and send him to the cockpit. Jiao Xian, charge! Ultimate Holy Dragon Beast, handsome explosion. Champion, consecutive championship. Sequence ranking 20+. Captain Jiao will definitely be stable this year. It's up to the Ultimate Holy Dragon Beast to kill. On the internet, as Han Lu introduced Jiao Xian, it immediately caused a flurry of comments. At the scene, the old principal of the Imperial Capital University and the director of the Battle Club of the Imperial Capital University were all smiling. Those Imperial Capital University students, such as Yin Zhengfan, who was sitting in a corner of the audience, also trusted Jiao Xian very much. At the moment, all 21 contestants had arrived at Glass Island. Shiyu was no exception. After arriving at Glass Island, he was teleported to the Yunying mountain range. The geographical environment was surprisingly good. The mountains were clear and the rivers were beautiful. Naturally, there was sufficient energy. The surroundings were clear, and his vision was wide open. Seeing this, Shiyu was amused. He suddenly had a bold idea. Didn't they say just now that the more contestants eliminated in the individual competition, the more monarch-level ferocious beasts they defeated, and the more rewards they would get in the end? If he meant if he could pack up the remaining 20 contestants on this island, would the reward explode? What final? The preliminaries could just be the end. It was still the same thing. If one couldn't even kill everybody in the National League, why would they go to the World Tournament to hunt overlords and totems? Even hunting monarch ferocious beasts has rewards, but among these people, apart from Jiao Xian, no one should be so bored as to provoke monarch ferocious beasts, Shiyu muttered to himself. After all, the reward for entering the main competition was even richer. Among the first-place prizes, just the 100 transformation stone alone was worth more than 1 billion. The rewards for the other rankings weren't bad either. On the other hand, if they gave up everything to hunt monarch ferocious beasts and didn't enter the main competition, it would be a huge loss. The competition authorities specially cleaned up the overlords of Glass Island, leaving behind an empty shell of Glass Island without overlords for the contestants to harvest resources. Then I won't be polite. If the others hunt another monarch, I'll lose 10 million. I have to think of a way to move faster. It's best if I can attract the ferocious beasts and contestants at the same time. He wondered how many monarchs there were on Glass Island. If there were enough, it would be a considerable number. With that said, Shiyu took a deep breath and made a decision. At the same time, after Han Lu, the commentator of the National League, spent a few minutes introducing Jiao Xian's battle results, she immediately switched to Shiyu. As a host, she had also done her homework. Naturally, she had to choose the popular contestants to introduce first. As the only 2 beast tamers who entered the top 100 of the sequence battle, it was never wrong to introduce them first. The second contestant we're going to introduce next, I believe everyone is not unfamiliar with him. He's from Ancient Capital University. He's only a first-year student of Ancient Capital University now. He's only 19 years old. It can be said that he's the youngest contestant in this competition. More importantly, although he's young, his achievements are very legendary. He's a first-year student of the Archaeology Department of Ancient Capital University, Shiyu. When contestant Shiyu was a beast tamer in turn, he discovered the evolution method of the iron-eating beast through archaeology. Later on, he even personally researched the important result of the evolution chain of the green silkworm cocoon, which was beneficial to the country and the people. He's a very outstanding young talent. More importantly, contestant Shiyu's strength seems to be very terrifying. According to the information, contestant Shiyu has also signed up to participate in the sequence competition of the world competition. The sequence competition committee even set contestant Shiyu's initial ranking at 81. This is very unbelievable. Now that contestant Shiyu has appeared here, perhaps he has already proven his strength like us. A master below the age of 20 is still very rare. Next, let's see how contestant Shiyu performs. Just as the commentator Han Lu finished speaking, Shiyu began to summon his pet in the scene. Unlike Jiao Shen, Shiyu didn't directly summon an ace battle beast that could be used to escort him to kill everyone. With countless eyes staring at the live broadcast screen, Shiyu stretched out his hand and summoned a ginseng baby. A small ginseng baby appeared in Shiyu's hand, making most of the audience fall into deep thought. Baby ginseng? What's going on? He's tired before it starts. It was fine if he came to a dangerous wild area and didn't summon his pets to protect himself, but what did he mean by summoning a ginseng baby? Moreover, a genius who had entered the top 100 of the sequence competition contracted a ginseng baby? As expected of you. In Pingcheng, although the young beast tamers who had participated in the supplement heat and imitated Shiyu's method had become useless themselves, they were very emotional when they saw Shiyu, who was getting stronger and stronger, taking out the supplement immediately. They lost. Of course, these were all people who didn't understand Shiyu. They only felt that baby ginseng was a transcendent race and a supplement. Those who had a deeper understanding of Shiyu, such as students from Ancient Capital and Imperial Capital University, froze when they saw this ginseng baby. Chapter 387, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 3. Chapter 387, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 3. This was not an ordinary transcendent ginseng baby, but a battle ginseng that knew attack skills. Moreover, its strength was not bad. Some students and teachers of Imperial Capital University were even more solemn. Shiyu's ginseng baby had undergone an evolution in Imperial Capital University. The old principal of Imperial Capital University was one of the few people who knew about the undying ginseng. Although Yin Jingfan and the others didn't know about the undying ginseng, they had also seen the commotion caused by the ginseng baby at Imperial Capital University. At that time, the fragrance that filled the sky almost attracted all the pets in Imperial Capital University, including Overlord-level pets. How nutritious was this ginseng baby? Now, when they saw Shiyu choose to summon this pet immediately, they revealed serious expressions. What was Shiyu doing? Holy shit! In the next moment, a shocking scene occurred. A fragrance that was almost corporeal bloomed from baby ginseng. A fragrance visible to the naked eye flowed into the sky like a tide. Even through the live broadcast, the beast tamers had never seen such a ridiculous sweet aura skill. In the impression of people, sweet aura skills were silent. However, on Shiyu's ginseng baby, it seemed to have gone from being soft and silent to a fragrant tornado. As the fragrance spread from baby ginseng's body, the entire sky was like the birth of the undying divine medicine, condensing a very spectacular natural phenomenon in the sky. Gulp! Everyone could clearly hear the grunt coming from the live stream screen. Whose voice is it? It sounds a little mechanical. Could I have heard wrongly? Eye of the Stars, aggrieved.jpg. On the platform of the East Sea Arena, Xiao Shuang's face was speechless. She sensed the desire of the Eye of the Stars for the ginseng baby from afar. Wait, was there something wrong? Why was a mechanical pet of the Eye of the Stars interested in the ginseng baby? Xiao Shuang was very puzzled. However, this ginseng baby. Xiao Shuang looked at the ginseng baby in Shiyu's hand on the screen with a deep gaze. She had heard from her father and sister that Shiyu had crushed 2 overlords through a ginseng baby. Now that Shiyu had summoned baby ginseng, what did it mean? No. Perhaps the intention was already very clear. As baby ginseng appeared, it emitted a fragrance. In an instant, with Shiyu as the center, the countless ferocious beasts in the surrounding area began to stir. Moreover, this area was still expanding. This fragrance slowly spread to the entire island with the wind of nature. Although the smell gradually faded, the fragrance was like a fuse that connected to the richest center. If nothing went wrong, soon the entire island would be able to smell this fragrance. This, the host, Hanlu, clearly immediately realized Shiyu's intention. She found it very difficult to understand. Contestant Shiyu. Contestant Shiyu, he summoned Baby Ginseng and made Baby Ginseng release a large-scale sweet aura skill. As everyone knows, the sweet aura skill is a special fragrance to relieve fatigue, but in the wild, many creatures are actually attracted by this sweet aura. What is he doing? Could it be that he wants to attract the ferocious beasts? Using this method to attract Monarch-level ferocious beasts to hunt? Looks like contestant Shiyu is very confident in his strength. Gu, I think so, but the sweet aura skill of contestant Shiyu's Ginseng baby seems to be a little too terrifying. What level has this Ginseng baby's strength reached? Could it have reached the Monarch level? Monarch level Ginseng baby? Everyone, look! There's already a terrifying number of ferocious beasts moving in the direction of contestant Shiyu. Initially, the two commentators wanted to introduce the 21 contestants before there was any conflict. However, who knew that this Shiyu would not follow the routine and cause such big news? As a result, they couldn't move the scene away and could only concentrate on explaining Shiyu's situation. At this moment, under Xiao Shuang's mental instructions, apart from the basic commands, the Eye of the Stars also began to mobilize more images from other places. Soon, the situation around Shiyu was broadcasted in the form of an aerial view. In the next moment, all the spectators gasped and their breathing almost stopped. This? How is that possible? There are at least 100,000 of them. Because in the live broadcast, as Baby Ginseng released its fragrance, at least 100,000 ferocious beasts, from Transcendent to Monarch level, walked towards the mountain range where Shiyu was with red eyes. They involved various races and types. They were all ferocious beasts that posed a huge threat to humans in the wild recorded in textbooks. During their journey, the sky and the ground were pitch black and dense. Just the tens of thousands of Transcendent-level killer bees led by the Queen Bee made all the spectators' hair stand on end. What kind of sweetness is that? This Shiyu is crazy. With such a big commotion, forget about the ferocious beasts, the other contestants nearby should also be attracted by him. The rules of this preliminaries were originally to let every contestant be careful of ferocious beasts in the wild and other contestants. Everyone was like hunters hunting in the dark forest and needed to be careful. It was best to defeat others through sneak attacks and picking up scraps. In the end, Shiyu released a signal flare into the sky to mark himself. Chapter 388, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 4. Chapter 388, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 4. Looking at the dense army of 100,000 ferocious beasts marching towards Shiyu in the aerial map, countless spectators gulped. Even the beast tides encountered in some cities were only SOSO. The analysis results are out. Among these ferocious beasts, there are a total of 10 Monarch-level ferocious beasts. About 3,000 Commander-level ferocious beasts, and 110,000 Transcendent-level ferocious beasts. The commentator, Han Lu, gulped and said, "A beast tide of this level could almost instantly paralyze a third-level city like Pingcheng. And this was only attracted in less than a minute after Shiyu summoned Baby Ginseng?" In the East Sea arena, Senior Panda sat nervously in her seat. "Don't worry." A moment later, a female voice came from the side. A big white cat had arrived at some point in time and joined the audience of Ancient Capital University. Teacher Ying. Lin Xiuzhu was surprised to see the gem cat. At the same time, the contestants on the competition island might not know the situation, but the teachers and students of the 9 major universities outside the island widened their eyes in unison. They looked at all of this in disbelief and at Shiyu's crazy actions. It had attracted nearly 120,000 ferocious beasts. Ignoring everything else, just the 10 Monarch-level ferocious beasts were enough to make several contestants suffer. This kid is dishonest. We can't let Qingwei find such a boyfriend in the future. On the platform, President Xia's gaze was deep. Even if all his pets master perfect level deterrence, it's still difficult to disperse such a huge beast tide, right? Director Zhong clicked his tongue. Wasn't this inviting trouble? Generally speaking, deterrents couldn't deal with monarchs of the same level. As for the 100,000 ferocious beasts, although they could be dealt with by deterrents, there were too many of them. Even if they used deterrents, they would be exhausted. Moreover, the monarch commanding them would also help resist the deterrents. In this situation, Shi Yu's situation was rather dangerous. Even if these pets dispersed in the end, Shi Yu himself would probably consume a lot of energy. At this moment, no one cared about the situation on the other contestant's side. All eyes were focused on Shi Yu. At the moment, there were already ferocious beasts very close to Shi Yu. As for Shi Yu, he also sensed the aura of wild beasts from all directions. 11. Come out. Let's settle one wave first. After baby ginseng, Shi Yu summoned his second pet. An extremely confused little iron-eating beast that was more than a meter tall appeared beside Shi Yu. The moment it came out, its body subconsciously emitted a faint deterrence. Although the hundreds of ferocious beasts near Shi Yu looked at baby ginseng with burning eyes, they didn't dare to act rashly. Iron-eating beast. Shi Yu summoned the iron-eating beast. I watched the iron-eating beast knight grow up. So what does he do next? Don't tell me he's going to let the iron-eating beast fight. In my opinion, slip away. It's more exciting to run after showing off. Countless comments quickly flashed across the major live stream platforms. At this moment, Shi Yu began to do serious things. Make as much noise as possible and attract all the contestants. Shi Yu gave 11 an order. Woo! 11 patted its chest, indicating that it would take care of it. In the next moment, the little iron-eating beast walked a little away, and then white light began to linger on its body. Boom! Under the light, a terrifying deterrent erupted from its body. Apart from that, an invisible white flash of flames erupted from 11, who was covered in white light, like an erupting volcano. Blue electric arcs flickered in the huge flames that were several meters tall. Under this light, 11's body suddenly enlarged. It was 2 meters tall, 5 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters, and it was still increasing. At this moment, a shocking change made the audience watching the scene suddenly open their mouths and quietly watch everything. Countless people widened their eyes and looked at a little iron-eating beast that was more than a meter tall. It suddenly multiplied to more than 100 meters. Although they knew that there were beast tamers who could master the skill of enlarging after the iron-eating beast evolved, wasn't enlarging to this size for little against common sense. In the giant transformation, 11's form was also changing. As the light dissipated, its entire body was wrapped in hard black armor. Its face and head were covered in armor that had already become the color of silver lightning. Apart from that, the place where its limbs touched its body, the iron ring-shaped thick armor also turned silver white with lightning lingering. Mysterious, domineering, honorable, and wild were the qualities revealed by the iron-eating beast today. At this moment, 11's originally black eyes had completely turned into a sky blue color that contained lightning. Coupled with the black and white armor and the flowing electric current on the armor, it looked extremely ferocious, like an overlord that could suppress everything. Roar! 11, who had entered the sharp state and erupted with all its might, immediately roared at the sky, its king's might erupting. Dao Proficiency Deterrence. Deterrence of this level had already exceeded the transcendent deterrence of the binding object and skill. It could already imprint deterrence in the depths of the souls and bloodlines of other lives, branding it in the ethereal natural power, fusing, and triggering the powerful natural power to display its might. In other words, 11 didn't need to consume a huge amount of physical strength at all. Just once, it could trigger the lightning here to transform into its own will and consciousness to deter the ferocious beasts that came. Chapter 389, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 5. Chapter 389, Deterrence that Exceeded Transcendent, 5. Boom! With 11's roar, the sky immediately exploded with a loud bang that resounded through the sky. A shocking bolt of lightning swept across the sky and emitted incomparably dazzling lightning, like a divine judgment. An incomparably terrifying bang instantly appeared in the hearts of the 100,000 ferocious beast army that rushed over one after another. It resounded in their ears. The explosive deterrence exploded their minds, hearts, souls, and bodies, making their pupils turn white. They fainted one by one. Before they arrived at the location of the ginseng baby, their consciousness collapsed uniformly. Bang! 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 100,000 thuds fell to the ground. It was almost like an earthquake as it resounded in this place. Be it Transcendent, Commander, or even the 10 monarch-level ferocious beasts in the Beast Tide, after witnessing the deterrence lightning that flashed in the sky, all of them lost their ability to fight without exception. Their eyes turned white from fear. For these ordinary monarchs with less than 2 million energy points, ordinary monarchs whose deterrence proficiency level had yet to reach perfection, this shocking lightning was the difference between a god and a mortal. It was impossible to surpass. The 100-meter-tall beast looked down at the fallen ferocious beasts and instantly killed 100,000 ferocious beasts. To 11, there was nothing to be proud of. Its full-level royal deterrence might only be useful in this situation. It couldn't be helped. Although its deterrence level was very high, in the team internal competition, its teammates were also transcendent-level deterrents. It was really not useful. However, for 11, it might be a very ordinary thing, but for the audience watching the live broadcast at this moment, it was an unbelievable thing that was enough to make their eyes explode and almost pop out. This? Looking at the 100,000 ferocious beasts that instantly fell to the ground with a thunderclap, even the 10 not weak monarch-level ferocious beasts lost their ability to fight. The two hosts in charge of explaining the National League instantly opened their mouths wide, completely unable to explain this deterrence. At this moment, the comments in the major live stream stopped for a moment. Countless spectators looked at the scene in disbelief. The audience at the scene was similarly confused. Not to mention them, even the top big shots on the platform were extremely silent. Then, Zhong Yang took a deep breath and said in disbelief, This is a deterrence that has exceeded the transcendent level and reached a higher level. At the moment, this level of deterrence has never appeared on a beast tamer's pet in the modern era. Only those foreign kings are qualified to have it. This 9-Li battle beast. What's going on? First, the fragrance slowly spread throughout the island, followed by a thunderclap. Shiyu indeed instantly became the center of attention. Even from very far away, many contestants sensed the energy fluctuations here and were attracted by the commotion here. They carefully rushed over to take a look at the situation. One of the faster ones had already arrived on an elemental pet at a low altitude. However, he looked at the pets lying on the ground nearby with confusion in his eyes. At the contestant area of Lingdu University, at this moment, the school leader of Lingdu University was surprised to see his contestant appear in the area where Shiyu was playing on the blurry small screen. His eyes immediately widened and his gaze exploded. Damn, silly child, run! Why did he go there for no reason? Don't get targeted by that monster. That kid wasn't kidding. He really wanted to attract all the monarchs and contestants to kill them together. Chapter 390, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime. Chapter 390, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime. Dong Huang Radio and Television Station, Dong Huang Radio and Television Station. An extremely unbelievable scene has appeared. After contestant Shiyu attracted a large number of ferocious beasts with baby ginseng's sweet aura skill, he actually instantly killed all the ferocious beasts. 10 monarchs, thousands of commanders, 100,000 transcendents. Unbelievable. According to the recorded information, even in the main battlefield of the totem battle, there has never been a record of a monarch-level pet instantly killing 100,000 ferocious beasts. This should still be deterrence, right? After Han Lu and Ji Yu were shocked, they quickly reacted and immediately explained. Since he didn't know how to explain this phenomenon, he would repeat the live broadcast in words. It was an old basic skill. They were professionals. What the hell? I'm not blind, I can see. Who can explain what's going on? Is this reasonable? I'll believe it if you say this is an overlord-level iron-eating beast. A question mark from the audience. Boom. In the scene, lightning flashed continuously, and occasionally, lightning arcs landed on 11. 11 used the lightning of nature to charge itself, shrinking and recovering. In the blink of an eye, they saw the huge beast that had grown to 100 meters and returned to its cute mini form. The audience was silent for a moment. I remember that when Shiyu participated in the vocation assessment, although its iron-eating beast could also expand, it was only to an acceptable level of 10 meters. And now, this size reminds me of those totem beasts in movies. Can other contestants still play? They'll get insta-killed. Contestant Shiyu's performance exceeded everyone's expectations. Regarding contestant Shiyu's performance, director Zhong Yang has something to say. The host, Ji Yu, also knew that the two of them couldn't explain this situation alone, so she could only ask the three guests for help. Soon, the camera turned to the platform and to Bureau Chief Zhong, President Xia, and Legend Slough. At this moment, the three of them were also very silent. Director Zhong pondered for a moment and said, "It's indeed as Master Ji Yu said. This is a deterrence skill. However, it's a very unusual deterrence. After training the deterrence skill to the expert level, it can form a monarch's aura. It can stun creatures with willpower, weak minds, and much weaker strength than itself on a large scale. However, there's still a limit to the monarch aura. It definitely can't reach the level of stunning ferocious beasts of the same level. Moreover, just now, contestant Shiyu's 9 Li battle beast didn't show an obvious monarch aura. Instead, it was accompanied by a thunderclap that resounded through the sky that stunned 100,000 ferocious beasts. This is no longer a monarch aura, but a higher-level deterrence. It's not perfect, nor is it transcendent. Instead, it has exceeded the transcendent realm. With a thought, heavenly lightning is born, turning lightning into will, and intimidating everything in its place. This skill even exceeds the entanglement skill of transcendent deterrence. Since ancient times, animals have feared fire, lightning, and all natural disasters in nature. This is the fear engraved in their bloodlines, and that deterrence just now has already reached the level of fusing the power of nature to deter everything. As for why this 9 Li war beast can train deterrence to such an extent, I also find it very difficult to understand. However, to be able to stun a monarch of the same level, that 9 Li battle beast is undoubtedly a natural king. The pet cultivated by contestant Shiyu might have created a record, a miracle. There were very few overlord-level creatures that had mastered transcendent-level deterrence. As for creatures that had mastered higher-level deterrence, they were too rare in the areas that humans could come into contact with. As soon as director Zhong finished speaking, the scene was silent. A deterrence that exceeded transcendent proficiency? For most spectators, although the skill deterrence was very strong, their impression of it was that it was a divine skill to torture noobs and was useless in battles of the same level. However, after seeing Shiyu's iron-eating beast instantly kill 100,000 ferocious beasts, at this moment, they couldn't say that this skill was just a divine skill to torture noobs. Their deterrence could only torture noobs because its proficiency wasn't high enough. Even 10 monarch-level ferocious beasts of the same level were instantly insta-killed. There were even 100,000 low-level ferocious beasts. Ha 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 ha. At this moment, in the audience seats of Ancient Capital University, Principal Foam was shocked for a moment. After a long silence, he laughed. We might be able to give an explanation here. Beside him, the panda senior, Lin Xiuju, was so excited that her face was red. She looked at the changes on the screen. 11 rushed forward, and so did Shiyu. Their commotion immediately attracted Xiao Shuang's attention. The camera turned to the audience seats of Ancient Capital University and to Principal Foam and Senior Panda. Principal Foam, what do you think of contestant Shiyu's performance in your school? That's indeed a deterrence that exceeds transcendent. As for why Shiyu's iron-eating beast can train its deterrence to that extent, that's because Shiyu's iron-eating beast is from the royal family of iron-eating beasts, and the royal family of iron-eating beasts is one of the strongest king beasts. According to archaeological discoveries, the legendary beast tamer, Emperor Wu, had the thought of changing his trump card after seeing the iron-eating beast king. This is enough to prove the iron-eating beast's potential. And the one who discovered all of this is Shiyu. he traced the history of the ancient capital's iron-eating beast ruins and cracked the Emperor Wu ruins in Wuling City. He discovered the truth of this loss and even found a way to help the iron-eating beast awaken its royal bloodline. His 9-Li battle beast has already completed the final evolution towards the iron-eating beast king on the basis of the information about the 9-Li battle beast that has already been announced. Chapter 391, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 1. Chapter 391, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 1. Now, the race level of his iron-eating beast has already reached the high-level Overlord race. It's the indisputable strongest race, a true beast king. It's normal for it to have such a performance. As soon as Principal Feng finished speaking, the entire Dong Huang domain trembled again. Countless spectators looked at the old man on the screen in disbelief. Everyone was naturally not unfamiliar with this person. The principal of Ancient Capital University, one of the most famous big shots in the archaeology world. There was no reason for everyone to not believe what he said. Shiyu had discovered the Iron-Eating Beast's Overlord race evolution method after the Iron-Eating Beast King evolution method? Iron-Eating Beast King? High-level Overlord race? Legend had it that Beast Tamer Emperor Wu had also wanted to use the Iron-Eating Beast as a trump card. As the old principal of Ancient Capital University revealed this news, countless people widened their eyes and looked at the little iron-eating beast on the screen in disbelief again. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, high-level Overlord race. Didn't Shiyu already contract a butterfly of imagination of a middle-level Overlord race? He actually had another monarch of a high-level Overlord race. Higher than the race level of Jiao Xian's ultimate Holy Dragon Beast. F***ck, no wonder Shiyu could be ranked 81st by the Sequence Competition Committee. Everyone believed the racial level mentioned by Principal Feng without a doubt, because if it wasn't a beast king of a high-level Overlord race, the deterrence that instantly killed a beast of the same level just now was impossible to explain. Now, everyone looked at the screen and was deeply shocked. The Iron-Eating Beast King was so strong. Shiyu was so strong. If nothing went wrong, from today onwards, the Iron-Eating Beast race would immediately become the target of all beast tamers. It would be even crazier than before. At the side, the Panda Senior was still excited. All right. She started planning for the incoming Panda popularity. The level of attention in the National League couldn't be said to be small. This royal deterrence, together with Principal Feng's certification, instantly made the reputation of the Iron-Eating Beast King sweep through the country. This made Yu Shu, Yin Zhengfan, and the others, who had fought Shiyu in the vocation assessment from the start, silent and at a loss. It felt familiar. Back then, Shiyu had promoted the archaeological discovery of the Iron-Eating Beast's evolution in the vocation assessment. Again? Addicted? If he really went to participate in a world competition, would he go to the world competition to promote archaeological discoveries again and show off to the totem clans? This old man, Director Zhong, looked at the smug Principal Feng and felt a sense of loss. Good lord, this old man had really picked up a super genius this time. Beside him, President Xia was a little stunned. In his impression, it was already impressive that Shiyu could nurture a pet like the butterfly of imagination. In the end, there was an even higher race. Hey, no way, Legend Xiao Shuang was also silent. Although she was shocked, at this moment, compared to the Iron-Eating Beast, she was still more concerned about that ginseng baby. Did these people forget something? That ginseng baby instantly summoned 100,000 ferocious beasts. No, the ferocious beasts from other places on the island were still coming over one after another. It was also very terrifying, even more terrifying than that iron-eating beast, all right? Moreover, it had a battle record that was suspected to have crushed 2 overlords. Why do I suddenly feel that Captain Jiao is unstable? F***ck, I've only seen high-level overlord races on television. Captain Jiao is definitely stable. Don't forget, the most impressive thing about mechanical pets is that they can fuse with beast tamers. Moreover, Captain Jiao has the same beast taming talent as that person. many supporters of Jiao Xian from Imperial Capital University suddenly wavered. However, a large portion of them still believed that Jiao Xian was stronger. Contestant Shi Yu has once again made us understand his astonishing achievements in the archaeological field. Iron-Eating Beast King, the Iron-Eating Beast King that instantly killed 100,000 ferocious beasts. Impressive! The host, Han Lu, and Ji Yu were very teary-eyed. This wasn't their fault. They couldn't explain anything about this new archaeological discovery that hadn't been announced. Fortunately, at this moment, there was other content to explain. Contestant Shi Yu's ginseng baby is still continuing to create fragrance. Thunder is also continuing to rumble above contestant Shi Yu. Apart from absorbing a large number of ferocious beasts nearby, the huge commotion here seems to have also attracted some contestants. I originally thought that it would still be a while before the contestants would meet, but I didn't expect that because of the commotion created by contestant Shi Yu, the distance between the two contestants would be at the stage where they were about to encounter each other so quickly. This change surprised the two commentators again. Damn, they had only introduced 2 of the 21 contestants. They originally wanted to finish introducing them for a while, but now it looked like they had to get to the point. The entire glass island was 40,000 square kilometers, larger than several demon cities added together. They didn't expect the contestants who had deliberately scattered could encounter each other so quickly. As expected, apart from deliberately attracting ferocious beasts, this Shi Yu was also deliberately attracting contestants from other places on the island. Let's see which contestant is closer to contestant Shi Yu. The scene changed. What entered the screen was a green pet more than 3 meters tall. It looked like a large sparrow. Although it looked like a bird, if one observed carefully, they could tell that it wasn't an animal, because its body and every feather was like a green tornado, fluttering messily. Chapter 392, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 2. Chapter 392, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 2. Name Tornado Sparrow. Race level, high-level monarch. Level of growth, monarch level. Introduction: it's a wind element life form. It can create a tornado with a flap of its wings. It's extremely dangerous. On this dragon tornado sparrow rode a fully armed young man in a green battlesuit. Everyone recognized him at a glance. After all, there were only 21 contestants in total. There were too few people. It's the captain of the school team of Spirit Capital University, Li Qiu, and his pet, the Dragon Tornado Sparrow. Spirit Capital, the capital of elements, produced elemental pets. As the representative of Spirit Capital University, Li Qiu's trump card pet was also an elemental life form, and it was the Tornado Sparrow known for its speed and destructive power. At this moment, not only were Li Qiu and the Dragon Tornado Sparrow attracted by the fragrance, but they were also attracted from afar by the huge lightning just now. For a moment, Li Qiu and the Dragon Tornado Sparrow actually didn't think that there were contestants nearby. Such a charming fragrance made the Dragon Tornado Sparrow's heart pound. It only made them think that some natural treasure had appeared nearby. However, the blood-eating ants, killer bees, gale sparrows, and other ferocious beasts everywhere nearby also made their hair stand on end, and they shuddered. Something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. It's definitely not as simple as the birth of a natural treasure. From the looks of it, they seem to have fainted from the lightning. What exactly happened? For safety's sake, we can't go. Let's observe and hide first. Li Qiu felt a sense of danger. Jew! However, when the tornado sparrow smelled the fragrance, it really couldn't hold it in anymore. Its entire body was restless and uneasy. Under the surging airflow, the strong wind made Li Qiu's lower body hurt. Delicious! The Dragon Tornado Sparrow shouted. Bear with it. With such a big commotion, the other contestants will definitely be attracted over. We can't act rashly first. Li Qiu didn't have the strength of Jiao Xian and Shi Yu, so he didn't dare to relax too much. The restriction of his thoughts didn't make him think that someone was deliberately fishing. Silly child, run, run quickly. Ah, right, 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 don't go. Turn around and leave now. Don't be curious. The teachers and students of Spirit Capital University said to their representatives in their hearts. The principal of Spirit Capital University didn't think that his student could defeat that little monster, Shiyu. At the first year of university, he had already contracted 2 overlord species pets, and they weren't ordinary overlord races. What kind of monster was this? Why did Ancient Capital University pick it up? Just from the battle results of entering the top 100 in the sequence Battle of Shiyu, it could be determined that apart from Jiao Xian, the others were definitely not Shiyu's match. Although Li Qiu and contestant Shiyu are the contestants with the greatest hope of encountering each other at the moment, Li Qiu doesn't seem to have any intention of continuing to explore the truth. At the moment, there's still a certain distance between them. If he maintains this, I wonder when they will encounter each other. When the host, Han Lu, saw that Li Qiu didn't follow the direction of the fragrance and continued exploring the commotion just now, she couldn't help but say regretfully. Wait a minute. Although contestant Li Qiu hid in the valley and didn't continue forward, contestant Shiyu and the others seemed to have suddenly looked in the direction of contestant Li Qiu. In the scene, Shiyu, baby Ginseng, and 11, who were standing on Shiyu's shoulder, looked into the distance in Li Qiu's direction. Transcendent supervision. With their extremely powerful reconnaissance skills, baby Ginseng and 11 sensed the powerful monarch-level energy wave that suddenly approached. Although their figures couldn't be seen at all, the monarch-level energy wave that spread could be clearly seen by Shiyu and the others. The first opponent is here, but unfortunately, it's not Jiao Xian, Shiyu thought. Let's get rid of the other party first. Shiyu thought for a moment and decided to take the initiative to attack. Although the other party seemed to be hiding very far, Shiyu's pet could reach this distance quickly. Apart from baby Ginseng, contestant Shiyu is indeed looking in the direction of Li Qiu's candidate. Could it be that he discovered the other party? This distance is unbelievable. Everyone, look, contestant Shiyu has summoned a new pet again. 3 blue summoning arrays appeared around Shiyu. Under the dazzling light, Shiyu's other 3 pets also appeared in the audience's vision. The first thing to come out of the summoning array was a beautiful butterfly-type creature with gorgeous and exquisite blue wings that were less than the size of a palm. The moment they saw this pet, although its size didn't match, everyone still determined what kind of creature it was immediately. Mid-level overlord race, butterfly of imagination. For the first time, it was this pet that allowed Shiyu's name to be widely spread throughout the country. For the first time, Shiyu's personal potential was evaluated as someone with a super rare pet that could potentially become a legend. Apart from the butterfly of imagination, not many people had seen Shiyu's other 2 pets. One was a red fire sword spirit in the form of a spirit body. This sword spirit was also very pocket-sized. Like baby Ginseng, Mini 11, and the butterfly of imagination, it was less than the size of a palm and very small. As Shiyu's pets were all at full level at multiplication, unless the racial characteristics were especially obvious, such as ginseng babies and iron-eating beasts, it was difficult for the audience to clearly determine what pet it was. However, as expected, the group of pets in the form of babies immediately caused a wide discussion. It's all in the form of a baby. Big Boss Shiyu definitely has the heart of a girl. Chapter 393, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 3. Chapter 393, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 3. What girl's heart? Didn't you see the giant 9-Li battle beast just now? Didn't you see the normal-sized butterfly of imagination? They're also handsome, all right? You lost if you were deceived by their appearance. Holy shit, is that a water slime? Apart from Buggy and Kai Tong, Susu was also summoned. Originally, the little sword spirit of an unknown race should have caused the most discussion and let people discuss what pet this was. However, Susu quickly stole Kai Tong's limelight. The reason was not that no one knew it, but because they knew the slime race too well, so they were very stunned. Contestant Shiyu summoned 3 more pets. One is the butterfly of imagination, the other is a fire element sword spirit, and the other is the water slime. Water slime, a pet of transcendent race. Although it was much stronger than the green silkworm and the dragon carp and was even rarer in Donghuang, this couldn't let it escape the fact that it was at the bottom of the elemental food chain. No one was surprised that Shiyu had broken through to the master level and could contract 5 pets. However, Shiyu, who had contracted 2 overlord races, had given a contract slot to a pet like the water slime. Many people were extremely confused. No, you can't judge a book by its cover. Have you forgotten about the transcendent ginseng baby just now? A transcendent ginseng baby that can instantly attract 100,000 ferocious beasts, is this reasonable? It's probably a 1,000-year-old ginseng. This water slime must also be terrifyingly strong. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been contracted by Big Boss Shiyu. That was right. The initial form of the 9-Li battle beast, the initial form of the green silkworm of the butterfly of imagination, and that ginseng baby didn't look like very powerful pets. However, the few in Shiyu's hands clearly looked different from other iron-eating beasts, other green silkworms, and other ginseng babies. This water slime was definitely in the same situation. At this moment, countless spectators were more willing to believe that this water slime was also very unusual. However, they were more curious about what was so extraordinary about this water slime that Shiyu could contract it. With this thought in mind, everyone continued watching. In the scene, Shiyu carried baby ginseng and called 11, Buggy, Kai Tong, and Susu. Buggy, you're in charge of guarding the east. 11, you guard the west. Kai Tong, you guard the south. Susu, guard the north. I'll leave that enemy to you. The 4 holy beasts, Green Worm Buggy, White Panda 11, Firebird Kai Tong, Turtle Shell Susu. Perfect! Baby ginseng, continue to release your fragrance here. Next, ferocious beasts and contestants will come from all directions. As long as ferocious beasts and contestants enter your vision, deal with them. Don't place them on me and baby ginseng. Let's see who can defeat more opponents. The prizes for eliminating contestants and dealing with monarch-level ferocious beasts are all yours. They'll be divided according to number. In that case, it's more efficient than moving together. Woo? Woo? Am I? Ning? The 4 pets were stunned and then full of energy. Yeah! Baby ginseng cried. Why couldn't it go? Why did it have to continue releasing fragrance as bait? It could fight too. Of course, the final reward will definitely be divided with baby ginseng. It's all up to it to gather monsters. Yee! Baby ginseng was delighted. That was more like it. This was what it meant to be lying down and winning? Moreover, 2 overlords had already been blown up. Baby ginseng was indeed not interested in the small characters here. After Shiyu made the arrangements, the 4 pets started moving. Electricity lingered around 11's body. It used electromagnetic levitation and flew with the power of lightning. It instantly turned into a lightning after image and flew west. As for Buggy, it teleported and instantly disappeared from the spot, heading east. Kai Tong made a mi sound and burned the power of the sun flame, turning into an orange-red sword light that flew south. As for Susu, it didn't have their speed. Its speed was only 1 level faster than baby ginseng. However, this was merely the speed ranking in the team. Buggy had instant transmission, and 11 and Kai Tong had full-level speed racial skills. Susu naturally couldn't compare. But outside the team, its speed was also very terrifying. After all, it was an elemental creature. After mastering the ability of elementalization, it was basically a flying expert. It wasn't something baby ginseng could compare to with its speed of condensing wings with grass. Ning! With a whoosh, Susu compressed the huge water elemental power onto its body and compressed itself into a high-speed water spear that shot out. In an instant, it also turned into a blue afterimage, like a high-speed shooting star, and flew fiercely in the direction it wanted to guard. Because Susu was at the bottom of the team in the previous internal competition, in order to take care of Susu, Shiyu gave it a battle result for free. Just now, the area where they had captured the contestants was the north where Susu was about to go. Hey! At the same time, Shiyu summoned all his pets in one go and sent out 4 of them, including the powerful Overlord Race, the Butterfly of Imagination, and the 9 Li Battle Beast. The scene directly shocked all the audience and made the host speechless. He actually scattered his pets? Was he letting his pets find someone to fight on their own? Chapter 394, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 4. Chapter 394, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 4. Contestant Shiyu, after he summoned all his pets, he actually sent 4 of them out, leaving only a ginseng baby beside him. What does he want to do? In the contestant area of Spirit Capital University, the 10 elites who participated in the team battle and hundreds of teachers and students looked at the water slime that turned into a water after image and flew towards the north towards Li Qiu in shock. For a moment, their brains couldn't process it. The other pets were all right. There were no contestants or active ferocious beasts in a certain range, but the water slime was quickly approaching Li Qiu. The speed of the water jet was actually much faster than the tornado sparrow just now. Swoosh! Soon, the water slime Susu shot into the sky above Li Qiu. Then, it suddenly landed and looked at the enemy. The creature that suddenly descended also shocked Li Qiu and his dragon tornado sparrow, who were hiding on the ground and silently observing the situation. Then, they saw the water slime that landed on the ground? What's going on? Li Qiu and the tornado sparrow looked at the water slime that had descended without anyone noticing with stunned expressions. Water slime? When? At this moment, in the valley surrounded by mountain walls, Li Qiu stood on the ground with the tornado sparrow beside him. The two had already left their riding state, and the water slime landed opposite them and faced them. Seeing the water slime sent by Shiyu descend beside Li Qiu from afar, apart from Li Qiu, who still didn't know what was going on, the audience behind the scenes widened their eyes in disbelief. Holy shit, Shiyu, the beast tamer himself, didn't move. He directly sent a pet to snipe Li Qiu? He had indeed discovered Li Qiu, right? However, was he serious about only sending one water slime? Don't tell them that this water slime's growth level had also been cultivated to the monarch level by Shiyu. Although the contestants of the individual competition were all outstanding figures of the 9 major universities, among these masters, 2 to 3 monarch level pets were considered outstanding. All 5 contracted were at the monarch level. That situation was very, very rare. Moreover, even if it reached the monarch level, did it have to fight 1 against 6 and deal with Li Qiu and his other 5 pets he contracted? The confrontation between the captain of Spirit Capital University, Li Qiu, and the water slime sent by Shiyu immediately made all the spectators who were paying attention to the individual preliminaries of the National League swallow their saliva. Nink! In the next moment, the water slime in the scene erupted with strong power, instantly making Li Qiu and the dragon tornado sparrow's pupils shrink. Boom! It was as if an invisible blue tsunami erupted from the water slime's body. As it looked at its opponent, the surrounding air began to hum and vibrate. A substantial deterrence wave formed a blue deterrence aura around it. This scene suddenly made Li Qiu and the tornado cloud reveal extremely serious expressions. Monarch Aura, expert in deterrence? Water slime, how was this possible? A terrifying deterrence wave spread. Tornado Sparrow, Li Qiu called. Li Qiu's dragon Tornado Sparrow was not to be trifled with either. It also instantly erupted with a strong deterrence wave. It was actually also an expert-level deterrence. The almost substantial green deterrence aura quickly pressed down on the water slime. But crack! With the water slime as the center, the deterrence that spread out cracked the surrounding ground and rocks. Li Qiu and the dragon tornado sparrow's gazes were immediately shocked to the extreme. It wasn't expert-level deterrence. It was a perfect-level deterrence that could materialize and cause physical destruction. Boom! The monarch aura erupted by the dragon tornado sparrow was immediately shattered. A terrifying deterrence enveloped the dragon tornado sparrow and Li Qiu. The dragon tornado sparrow's spiritual consciousness instantly trembled. It directly felt a suffocating, terrifying aura. It looked at the little creature in front of it in disbelief, its face filled with incomprehension. Its mental state was seriously affected. As for Li Qiu, he wasn't much better. The defensive pendant equipment on his chest trembled violently and swayed. It even showed signs of cracking, making Li Qiu's face pale. It was a little difficult for him to do anything else. His thoughts and movements were restricted. At the same time, dazzling water waves gathered in the water slime's mouth and wrapped around it with shocking deterrence. Transcendent level deterrence, deterrence entanglement. At this moment, Li Qiu's pupils constricted again as he felt an incomparable threat. F*CK, it's not perfect, it's transcendent. What the hell, he shouted. Then, its body erupted with powerful potential. As it resisted the deterrence with difficulty, it erupted with all its strength and used its wind element strengthening talent on the Tornado Sparrow. Buzz! The aura of the Dragon Tornado Sparrow rose steadily. In the blink of an eye, its strength far exceeded before. However, as the terrifying water that had been compressed to the extreme moved in the water slime, Li Qiu and the Tornado Sparrow were not at ease at all. Boom! Deterrence armor, water element control, water cannon. It was fired. The blue light flowed in the water slime's mouth and eyes. With a boom, it was incomparably thick and its speed was astonishing. It compressed the water cannon the size of a sea and directly locked onto the Tornado Sparrow with deterrence and attacked. Jew! At this moment, under the 2 levels of deterrence lock-on, the Tornado Sparrow still found it difficult to move. It could only condense the jade of wind in its mouth with difficulty and use a compressed and spiral huge wind ball to resist this water cannon. Chapter 395, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 5. Chapter 395, The Lucky Person Who Was Crushed by the Slime, 5. However, this water cannon was, after all, Susu gathering the power of nature and mobilizing the sea stored in its body. It was also wrapped in a powerful attack of deterrence. It was not something the opponent could block at all. Even after being strengthened by the Beast Tamer, the energy value of this Dragon Tornado Sparrow was still less than half of Susu's. In the face of this attack that contained terrifying deterrence and water element power, the moment the white wind jade made contact with it, it was immediately like a balloon falling into a waterfall. It was torn into pieces by the water and finally swallowed. The water cannon hit the Tornado Sparrow. In an instant, under the Dragon Tornado Sparrow's sudden expression, its entire body was swallowed by the water cannon and charged into the distance. Boom! The entire valley shook. Because the water cannon directly charged the Dragon Tornado Sparrow into the mountain wall. The moment the 2 parties touched, the entire mountain instantly collapsed because of this water cannon. The rumbling sound was like a tsunami and an earthquake. The mountain wall cracked, the ground rumbled, and a storm fell from the sky. Scattered deterrence waves flew in all directions, and the Tornado Sparrow slowly sank into the newly formed small lake, accompanying the gravel. Its expression was tragic, and it completely lost its ability to fight. As for Li Qiu, who had brushed past the water cannon, he also stood on the spot in a daze. He felt the cry of the Dragon Tornado Sparrow that had lost its battle power, and his mind went blank. Nink! Surrender! Seeing that this Beast Tamer wasn't very smart, and that his reaction was slower under the deterrence, it didn't continue attacking and was extremely considerate. At this moment, Li Qiu had indeed lost his ability to think. He didn't understand what this water slime was. It was a wild ferocious beast, right? But then, which wild ferocious beast looked like this and was so strong? Li Qiu had never heard of anyone contracting a water slime, and it was a water slime with such abnormal strength. Most importantly, he had never even seen this little guy's Beast Tamer. At this moment, Li Qiu was unwilling to face the truth. He only felt that he was still in a dream. The National League would only begin tomorrow. Although the other spectators didn't have their values shattered as directly as Li Qiu, when they saw a water slime erupt with such powerful strength and instantly kill the high-level Monarch-level Dragon Tornado Sparrow that had been strengthened by the Beast Tamer in one hit, their minds also rumbled and they were extremely shocked. This. I'm a little doubting my eyes now. The two commentators were once again unable to explain the situation in front of them.
This is F*King water slime?
At that moment, as the encounter between the water slime and Li Qiu turned into a conflict and ended with Li Qiu being crushed, the teachers and students of Spirit Capital University were confused. This, who could tell them what was going on? It was fine if Shi Yu's butterfly of imagination was strong, but why was this water slime so unscientific? Everyone looked at the tornado sparrow that was insta-killed. This was undoubtedly Li Qiu's trump card. It had been insta-killed. They didn't doubt at all that even if Li Qiu summoned all his pets, he still couldn't escape the fact that he would be killed and shattered by this water slime. This was not the same dimension at all. Silly child, they told him to run, why didn't he listen? Look, wasn't he going to be the first unlucky person to be eliminated? Moreover, he was eliminated alone by a pet raised by the beast tamer. How depressed would he be if he knew the truth after coming out? In the previous National League, under the same level of monarchs, only Jiao Xian's ultimate holy dragon beast had such strength. But this time, there was a random water slime? Not only Spirit Capital University, but the teachers and students of the other universities also looked at the scene in shock. Only the Imperial Capital and Ancient Capital University were extremely silent. They only felt that this situation was both familiar and unfamiliar. Obviously, this didn't make sense. Chapter 396, Butterfly with Physical Strength of a Dragon. Chapter 396, Butterfly with Physical Strength of a Dragon. Too strong. Contestant Shi Yu's pet has refreshed our understanding again. Regardless of whether it was scientific or not, since it had happened, it was reasonable. Han Lu and Ji Yu, the two commentators, looked at the water slime in the scene in shock, as well as the shattered rock. Transcendent level deterrence. A water spear with power comparable to a tsunami. Not only did it easily defeat the dragon tornado sparrow, but it also relied on the impact of the water to instantly collapse a mountain wall and drown it into a lake.
Is this still the water slime? Is it really that transcendent elemental creature?
This level of deterrence, this level of elemental control. I even believe that it's the Slime King. No, even the Slime King can't do this. The Slime King was the only high-level life form of the slime race. It was a monarch race, but its evolution method was unknown. Only slimes that were born as a Slime King had been discovered. Moreover, Shi Yu's water slime looked like a normal water slime. It was completely different from the Slime King.
Is there really such a water slime?
The two commentators asked the three big shots on the platform. They couldn't understand how a water slime could be so strong unless it used water element legendary resources. The audience also couldn't understand why Shi Yu's pets were so ridiculous. Similarly, this time, the three big shots on the platform were speechless again. This was the first time Shi Yu had publicly sent the water slime to battle. Apart from a few people, the others didn't know the situation of this water slime at all. At this moment, on the platform, President Xie looked at the camera and slowly said, I only know that contestant Shi Yu's water slime was contracted in the East Sea Dragon Palace City. Obviously, it might not be as simple as an ordinary water slime. When President Xie finished speaking, everyone was speechless. Dragon Palace City? As long as it was a beast tamer who had passed their history test, they naturally knew where that was. It was all thanks to a huge monster like Dragon Palace City that the sea area of Dong Huang was so peaceful. That was the paradise of the dragons. There had been several dragon kings in history that shocked the sea. There were countless ocean overlords. Shi Yu's water slime was contracted in Dragon Palace City? Upon hearing that this pet had the background of Dragon Palace City, the audience instantly fell silent. The information they could obtain was that Shi Yu had been to Dragon Palace City, but if he was qualified to go to such a place, he undoubtedly had a chance to see more rare pets, even purebred dragons. In this situation, Shi Yu had only contracted one water slime. What exactly was this water slime? Perhaps there was no need to be puzzled at all, because the battle just now very well explained the power of this water slime. If it were any other beast tamer, they wouldn't mind such a water slime. It's too exaggerated. I'll even believe it if he says that this water slime is the illegitimate son of a totem dragon king in Dragon Palace City. Me too, I heard that totem-level creatures can change their race at will. Could this water slime really be a totem descendant? So annoying. I want such a water slime too. In the audience of Ancient Capital University, Principal Fong chuckled. What were they thinking? Be bold. This was the reincarnation of the Blue Sea Sprite. Of course, this matter was very important, so Principal Fong couldn't reveal more. Compared to now, Principal Fong looked at the screen. He hoped that one day, after this water slime really obtained the name of the Blue Sea Sprite, Shiyu could still control it to fight. At that time, Shiyu's name would be comparable to the legends of Dong Huang. The competition had already ended before it even started. What kind of experience was this? As Li Qiu didn't have telepathy and couldn't understand Susu's words, he wouldn't surrender. Without a doubt, he was directly shattered by Susu. A bubble skill sent Li Qiu to heaven. Then, the Eye of the Stars took charge of the aftermath. As the first contestant to be eliminated, Li Qiu from Spirit Capital University was completely brought back to the East Sea Arena in a daze. Even when he was sent back, he didn't know what that water slime was. In the East Sea Arena, when the Eye of the Stars clone teleported Li Qiu back, Li Qiu stood on the arena, feeling the gazes of the 100,000 spectators in the arena and looking at everything in confusion. Contestant Li Qiu. At this moment, the comforting voices of Ji Yu and Han Lu came from the screen. Contestant Li Qiu unfortunately encountered the pet water slime sent by contestant Shiyu. After a defeat, he was judged by the judge to be eliminated. It's too regretful. Looks like the first contestant to be eliminated has appeared. Contestant Li Qiu is already cautious enough. In the face of the fragrance and commotion emitted by contestant Shiyu to lure his opponent, he maintained enough vigilance. Unfortunately, contestant Shiyu still discovered him and sent out a terrifying water slime. Forget about Li Qiu. Someone seems to be heading towards Shiyu again. The comments flooded the screen. Li Qiu? What the F***CK? What were the two of you explaining just now? Say it again? Woo Li Qiu, my Li Qiu. In the audience seats of Spirit Capital University, the juniors who supported Captain Li Qiu cried and said, that water slime is so strong and cute. The school leaders of Spirit Capital University were silent. Their team leader was the first to be eliminated. They didn't know what to say. Chapter 397, Butterfly with Physical Strength Comparable to a Dragon, 1. Chapter 397, Butterfly with Physical Strength Comparable to a Dragon, 1. Was Li Qiu weak? In terms of pet growth level, there was naturally nothing to say about the monarch level. In terms of race level, apart from Shiyu, Jiao Xian was the only one among the students of the 9 major universities who had contracted an overlord race pet. Therefore, high-level monarchs were already the top batch, they were naturally not weak. In addition, Li Qiu could strengthen the pet's energy level to more than 2 million through the pretty good talent he developed. Among the master-level contestants of the 9 major universities, he was definitely not weak. Therefore, it was completely because the other party was too abnormal. At this moment, Li Qiu clearly realized how much he had experienced. Li Qiu listened to the key words Shiyu, the water slime sent out, and the first to be eliminated. He also saw the water slime standing on the huge rock and looking at the sky. His gaze and mentality slowly changed from confusion to explosion. His expression gradually became ferocious. Ah! Damn, that water slime was Shiyu's? The school leaders of Spirit Capital University cast comforting gazes. It's all right, it's all right. As long as the other schools are as miserable next, no one will care about our Spirit Capital University. Look, aren't the unlucky people from the other schools also heading in the direction of Shiyu and Baby Ginseng? In fact, that was the case. Those who were closer to Shiyu were all pretty unlucky. Li Qiu wouldn't be the last. At this moment, the only thing that comforted the teachers and students of Spirit Capital University was that another figure was gradually approaching Shiyu from the east. Clearly, it was also attracted by the commotion. It's the vice-captain of the school team of Divine Capital University, Chu Yiang. The principal of Spirit Capital University's tone was filled with joy. On the side of Divine Capital University, when they saw their contestant rushing over second, their expressions immediately changed. It was a huge dragon lizard with a horn that looked like a golden crown, and its body was covered in golden feathers. It flew in midair with a hedgehog-headed young man sitting on its rough body. At this moment, the feathered dragon and the young man were communicating in confusion. Roar! There's no mistake, it's a lightning element natural treasure. Roar! The birth of thunder element natural treasures is often accompanied by lightning. This taste, this array, will definitely be a resource above level 7. The feathered dragon crazily painted a beautiful picture for its beast tamer. Go, go, go! As long as it obtained this, it would earn more than crushing 10 monarch level ferocious beasts. The competition authorities also arranged for natural treasures to be fought over by the contestants. Could it be that they want to use this method to stimulate the conflict between the contestants and accelerate the competition? If that's the case, there might be other contestants nearby who will be attracted over. We can't be careless. Be careful. As for Chu Yiang, he also believed in the feather dragon. The two of them carefully went over. It's the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon and Chu Yiang. Name Thunder Crown Feather Dragon. Race level, high level monarch, quasi-overlord. Level of growth, monarch level. Not good, that direction is. After many teachers and students from Divine Capital University compared them, they silently discovered that their contestant, Chu Yiang, and his pet were flying in the direction of Shiyu's butterfly of imagination. If it was said that before this, when Shiyu was mentioned, the first pet people thought of was definitely the butterfly of imagination. This pet that allowed Shiyu to be evaluated as having legendary aptitude. That was displaying incomparable light at the butterfly meeting and the feeding conference. I didn't expect that less than half an hour after the competition, there would be consecutive encounters. I have to say that contestant Shiyu's strategy has had a very good effect. According to our observation, a large number of contestants are gathering in this direction. Among them, the vice-captain of Divine Capital University, Chu Yiang, is the second contestant to encounter Shiyu after contestant Li Qiu. The two commentators were very excited. This was the first time they were explaining such a national competition. They also admitted that Shiyu really knew how to play. This kind of direct battle with all contestants and ferocious beasts, telling the other parties I'm right here, was too crude. However, the one who's about to encounter contestant Chu Yiang and the others won't be contestant Shiyu himself, but another pet he sent in this direction, the butterfly of imagination. Everyone is definitely not unfamiliar with the butterfly of imagination. This is one of the pets representing contestant Shiyu. It's a powerful butterfly-type creature with both mental and spatial attributes. I wonder what kind of sparks will fly after it encounters contestant Chu Yiang. Glass Island, in midair. Chu Yiang was riding the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon when they suddenly stopped. The Thunder Crown Feather Dragon and Chu Yiang instantly revealed serious expressions. Roar! The Thunder Crown Feather Dragon's Thunder Crown was like a radar that could sense the surrounding situation through electromagnetic waves. Just now, they sensed the change in a powerful spatial magnetic field wave. A very strong ferocious beast was attacking. Buzz! Just as Chu Yiang and the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon sensed the change and retreated crazily, with a bang, under the spatial ripples, a huge butterfly-type creature descended. A huge butterfly about 4 to 5 meters tall slowly appeared with a strong pressure. It had incomparably huge wings. The entire surface of the wings was like white waves surging on the blue sea. Its color and patterns were very spectacular, like a piece of art. At this moment, a string of beautiful white halos embedded at the edge of the huge butterfly's blue sky-like wings shone. It was very dazzling and gorgeous. The moment it descended, its gorgeous figure instantly shocked Chu Yiang and the others. Chapter 398, Butterfly with physical strength comparable to a dragon. 2. Chapter 398, Butterfly with physical strength comparable to a dragon. 2. At this moment, Buggy was overjoyed. He didn't expect himself to be so lucky to encounter a bonus so quickly. Buggy was very happy, but Chu Yiang and the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon were not very happy.
The Butterfly of Imagination.
Why? Holy shit! As expected, there were other contestants nearby who were attracted by the natural treasures. This pet is Shiyu's Butterfly of Imagination. There were only 21 contestants in the individual competition. Chu Yiang had memorized almost all the known pet information of the contestants, let alone a celebrity pet like Buggy. It was instantly recognized by Chu Yiang. After leaving Shiyu, as it was going to fight, Buggy returned to its normal state, so it was not difficult for the other party to recognize it. No, compared to normal, to be precise, it was called battle mode now. The battle state of the Dragon of Imagination. At the moment, Buggy was doing training to transform the Dragon of Imagination state into its normal state. Compared to 11 and the others' explosive skills, its Dragon of Imagination, as long as it didn't use high-level props to exceed its limit, was actually not that difficult to bear now. It was easier to use than 11's Inner Power, Kai Tong's Infinite Converging Sword, and Baby Ginseng's Time Fruit. Most importantly, after transforming into a dragon's physique, it could specially magnify the advantage of a certain dragon race, such as the advantage of a dragon with powerful recovery abilities, to make up for its endurance. For example, if it transformed its physique into the physique of the Sky Dragon God, just eating air could recover its physical fitness. Of course, with Buggy's current ability, it definitely couldn't do a perfect transformation, but even if it replicated a trace of its physique, it would benefit infinitely. These were all the benefits of visualizing the Dragon God statue, giving Buggy various choices that approached perfection. If Buggy's stats were like this: life force, extremely low, energy value, medium, physique, extremely low, then in the Dragon of Imagination state, it was this: life force, extremely high, energy value, extremely high, physique, extremely high, and was extremely ferocious. Such a ferocious quality naturally made the enemy feel a strong threat. In an instant, Chu Yiang didn't say anything else. Although he didn't know why he didn't see the beast tamer, he immediately ran as if this butterfly was a calamity. No way! If it were other contestants, he might still fight, but Shiyu, he couldn't see through him. As one of the few overlord races in this competition, only a fool would fight head-on. However, Chu Yiang also seemed to feel that running was useless. Therefore, the moment the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon and he turned around, another Thunder Crown Feather Dragon instantly appeared between them and the Butterfly of Imagination. Look, contestant Chu Yiang and contestant Shiyu's Butterfly of Imagination have met. However, contestant Chu Yiang doesn't seem to have any intention of fighting. Instead, he immediately turned and left. However, in order to stop the Butterfly of Imagination, he used his beast-taming talent, Clone. The beast-taming talent, Clone, is similar to the pet's clone skill, but not completely the same. Through this clone talent, the beast tamer can create a clone with 100% perfect replication of the pet's strength. However, the duration of this clone depends on the beast tamer's physical fitness. At the moment, the new Thunder Crown Feather Dragon is clearly the clone of contestant Chu Yiang's Thunder Crown Feather Dragon. Although it's a clone, it also has a completely similar strength. I wonder if this Thunder Crown Feather Dragon's clone can buy some time for contestant Chu Yiang's tactical retreat. The scene on the screen turned into a confrontation between the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon and the Butterfly of Imagination in the blink of an eye. The audience took a deep breath. Most people had only heard of the Butterfly of Imagination, but they had never seen it fight. Spirit, space, what kind of sparks could these two attributes create? Only some spectators from Imperial Capital University thought of some bad memories. In order to buy enough time for Chu Yiang to retreat, the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon's entire body was surrounded by blue-purple flames as it attacked the Butterfly of Imagination. Roar! Suddenly, the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon's flying speed increased, releasing an aura that made the air tremble. With a whoosh, it tore through the air, and its flying speed turned into an afterimage. At the same time, blue-purple flames surged all over its body, and the flames all over its body led the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon's flying speed. The aura filled with killing intent was mixed with the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon's faith. Seeing this scene, the audience immediately recognized this unique skill. It's a super skill, Dragon Charge. The two commentators said, a dragon element ultimate skill that can cause physical and elemental damage. The incomparable physique of the dragons, together with their unique dragon energy, dragon-type skills have always been synonymous with destructive power. The blazing blue and purple dragon figure surged forward. Although Dragon Charge was a dragon-type skill, it also had some fire and lightning properties. It was very easy to cause burning and paralysis effects. It was a very threatening skill. This powerful move was definitely not to be touched by bugs, especially weak bugs like butterflies. Even Overlord-level butterfly-type creatures were unwilling to be attacked by the dragon-type skills of Monarch-level dragons. The audience understood this, so they subconsciously judged the next situation. However, just as everyone thought that the Butterfly of Imagination would use its skill to counterattack violently or dodge through the strange spatial element, a shocking scene occurred. The Butterfly of Imagination didn't move on the spot, completely ignoring the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon that was charging towards it. Chapter 399, Butterfly with Physical Strength Comparable to a Dragon, 3. Chapter 399, Butterfly with Physical Strength Comparable to a Dragon, 3. That's it? Buggy wanted to despise the power of the other party's unique skill. It couldn't even compare to the power of its leader that didn't use skills. In the empty dragon state, using other skills was a waste of energy. Boom! Because Buggy ignored it and let the skill collide, a huge explosion immediately came from the sky. The Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon's body trembled as it hit the Butterfly of Imagination, but the Butterfly of Imagination floated steadily in the sky without moving at all. Just now, it was like a grasshopper hitting an elephant, unable to cause any damage to it at all. Sensing the huge reaction force and the pain in its body, the pupils of the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon clone constricted, and its heart was shocked to the extreme. This scene was also shocked by a bunch of spectators and two commentators. Holy shit! What's going on? The butterfly's body resisted the ultimate move of a dragon-type creature. Eye of the Stars, film it more carefully. Zoom in. Holy shit, it took the hit physically. I'll report it. This is not legal at all. At this moment, all the beast tamers watching the live broadcast were shocked. Then, an even more shocking scene occurred. The Butterfly of Imagination glanced at the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon clone. Then, its right wing flapped slightly, and its body came into contact with the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon's body. In the next moment, the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon's body directly caved in by a large half, as if a huge rock had violently pressed onto its flesh and blood. Almost instantly, the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon's pupils turned completely white. Under the slap of the worm, its body fell towards the forest on the ground like a falling meteor. Boom! Smoke rose, and the fallen Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon directly scraped the ground, dragging a deep trench. It knocked over dozens of big trees in succession before the sound at the bottom fell silent. There were no energy fluctuations the whole time. Buggy completed it with its physical strength. This scene stunned many people. F*CK, Butterfly, killed the dragon with a slap. Is this AF** King Butterfly? Legend Hua, who specializes in butterflies and cries weekly every day, is seriously protesting. The two commentators were also stunned. At the same time, Chu Yang, who had already walked a distance away, sensed the situation of the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon clone. His brain immediately rumbled, and his gaze was filled with disbelief and fear. Then, a scene that made its gaze explode appeared. From an incomparably far distance, his and the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon's bodies were suddenly frozen by the blue psychic light that appeared out of thin air. Roar! The Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon that was flying at high speed immediately roared loudly, but it was useless. Then, under Chu Yang's frightened expression, he separated from the Thunder-Crown Feather Dragon he was riding. Then, under the control of psychic power, with a boom, the Thunder Crown Feather Dragon's main body was also smashed to the ground from the sky. Boom! The smoke rose again. This time, the power was even stronger. It still dragged out a deep ditch that was more than 100 meters long. It knocked over dozens of big trees in succession before the sound at the bottom fell silent. The forest surrounded by smoke looked like 2 meteorites had just fallen. It was a mess. In the sky, Chu Yiang, who was frozen and couldn't even see the figure of the butterfly of imagination, was directly scared silly, afraid that he would be accidentally crushed by the butterfly of imagination. F*CK, I admit defeat, I surrender. Let go of me. Another one. At the same time, looking at Shi Yu's butterfly of imagination that easily eliminated another contestant, the audience's mouths were dry. As they sympathized with Chu Yiang, they felt even more deeply the horror of Shi Yu's strength. This butterfly of imagination's strength was even more F*King unscientific. This was the spiritual and spatial element? What was this physical strength? Was it not the spiritual, spatial, and dragon elements? Chapter 400, Baby Ginseng Crushing the Land. Chapter 400, Baby Ginseng Crushing the Land. The second one. In the center of the Yunying mountain range, Shi Yu and Baby Ginseng sat quietly on the huge rock. Susu had solved one, and Buggy had also solved one. Not bad. A little more. Shi Yu was happy to be free. His leisure and smile fell into the eyes of the audience. He was completely a demon. Another one. The pet sent by contestant Shi Yu has eliminated another contestant. This is the Dong Huang radio and television station. At the moment, it's broadcasting the individual preliminaries of the National League for You. Contestant Shi Yu's pets are simply unbelievable. The weak butterfly-type creature actually insta-killed the dragon type with just its physical body? Even if it's overlord race, this. The entire country's audience was numb. Especially those beast tamers who had cultivated the evolution form of the green silkworm butterfly. They summoned their butterflies and pinched their delicate skin. They were speechless. Butterflies, excuse me. Woo-woo. The encounter between the butterfly of imagination and contestant Chu Yiang from Divine Capital University made the teachers and students of Spirit Capital University extremely excited. Li Qiu, the captain of Spirit Capital University, sat back in the audience with a blank expression. He kept feeling that this scene was familiar. Only the teachers and students of Divine Capital University had bitter expressions. They knew that this pet that Shi Yu had contracted early couldn't be weak. However, they were really sad that Chu Yiang was insta-killed without being able to fight back. At least hold on for a while. As long as they successfully fought back a bit, Divine Capital University wouldn't lose face. After all, everyone knew that Shi Yu was very strong and that he had entered the top 100 of the sequence battle. But a dragon-type pet was shattered by a butterfly-type creature with just a wing. What was this? Even if it was a clone that matched 100% of the main body's strength. Moreover, the main body didn't show off much. It was directly smashed down by someone's psychic power from 10,000 meters away, and insta-killed by a low-level mental skill. How embarrassing. Only Shi Yu, the gem cat, and a few others knew that this was completely normal. Chu Yiang didn't have any strengthening talent. In terms of energy value, his Thunder Crown Feather Dragon wasn't even 2 million. It was overkilled by Buggy several times. In addition, it was a mere alternative dragon. No matter how strong its physique was, compared to the perfect dragon physique that had absorbed the advantage of the demigod-level dragon god physique, it was nothing in front of an expert. This time, Ji Yu and Han Lu, the two commentators, also learned to be smart. They directly got the 3 big shots on the platform to explain this ridiculous phenomenon again. After a moment of silence, President Xia said, "That's why I said that contestant Shi Yu is a genius." As everyone knows, doctors were successfully let the green silkworm obtain the phoenix race bloodline during the evolution process and evolve into an ice phoenix moth with the characteristics of a phoenix. In fact, everyone should have heard of the natural phenomenon that appeared when contestant Shi Yu's green silkworm evolved at the butterfly meeting. At that time, a divine dragon appeared. Therefore, I think that contestant Shi Yu's butterfly of imagination might have used dragon element resources to strengthen its physique when it evolved, and it succeeded. For example, dragon blood and dragon balls are resources that can strengthen other lives and physiques. To be able to absorb such resources so perfectly during the evolution of the green silkworm, as expected of a genius researcher who can develop the evolution chain of the green silkworm cocoon. President Xia explained weakly, but that was the only explanation. Everyone acknowledged and understood what he said, and they knew that it was the truth. Everyone naturally saw the situation of the butterfly meeting. However, the problem now was that Shi Yu's butterfly of imagination was no longer as simple as its physique being improved by dragon element resources. It was useless. It insta-killed a quasi-overlord dragon type that was using a super dragon type skill. Even a divine dragon of the high-level overlord race couldn't do it. If dragon element resources were so impressive, the price wouldn't still be suppressed by time, space, and other attributes. Moreover, this butterfly of imagination was a spiritual and spatial attribute. What resource could strengthen it so ridiculously? Woo woo woo, my Dragon Ball, my Dragon Ball. President Xia touched the gem cat sore spot. As soon as he finished speaking, in the audience seats of Ancient Capital University, the gem cat immediately pressed its cat claws on its face and cried silently with tears streaming down its face. This was the Dragon God's Dragon Ball. After Shi Yu learned the origin of the Dragon Ball from the Sea Dragon King, he didn't hide it and openly told the gem cat. This telling was no different from adding fuel to the fire, almost causing the gem cat to have a heart attack and suddenly die. If it had known that the Dragon Ball with the lost energy was the Dragon Ball of the Sea Serpent Dragon from countless years ago in Dragon Palace City, it would have signed a 100-year-old food contract with Shi Yu and baby ginseng before giving it to Shi Yu no matter what, and not be tricked by the lousy fruit Shi Yu created with a few ginseng treasures at the commander level. Teacher Ying, are you uncomfortable? Lin Xiaozhu saw the gem cat's expression suddenly change, and her body twitched as she immediately said, I'm just crying from joy. I'm happy to see Buggy so powerful. I'm happy too. Lin Xiaozhu's beautiful eyes flowed with anticipation. The iron-eating beast and green silkworm package should increase in price again. At this moment, the commentators, Ji Yu and Han Lu, suddenly exclaimed, Look! The captain of Imperial Capital University, Jiao Xian, is also heading in the direction of Shi Yu and the others. The distance between Jiao Xian and Shi Yu is much greater than the distance between contestant Li Qiu and contestant Chu Yang against contestant Shi Yu.